Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to another episode of F1 Manager Challenge Mode. Let's hope this week's challenge mode is a little bit better than last week's. We had a very mixed bag last week, a lot of mistakes from our drivers. Having driven the first half of the season fantastically, it kind of fell apart a bit last week and a lot of mistakes started creeping in. So let's hope that they've gotten it out of their system and then I'll get back to the kind of performances that we were seeing where we actually won some races. We won a couple of races back to back, and it'd be nice to get back to that if we can. So let's see where we are. Evening, Mr. Water, Jason and Farah, good to see you guys. So we're heading to Monza for tonight's round, and it is the day of the Grand Prix. I think we got everything done that we needed to, but let's just double check, make sure I've got spare parts. So I've got a chassis on the way and an underfloor that's due in 4 days as well. So chassis that's going to be ready for tomorrow, that's fine. Underfloor, yeah, that's fine. We got plenty of front wings, only got one spare rear wing, but that should be fine. Don't need spare side pods. Got a spare suspension. Okay, looks like we're pretty good. Let's just check where we sit on the grid. Our cornering looks amazing, but our speed is definitely taking a hit. That is not so good. We're in direct competition with Mercedes at this point, so let's take a look at them. On paper, our car is actually very closely matched, as you can see, in terms of straight line speed. They are 12th, or we are 12th, they are 11th. So very, very close between us and the lead Mercedes there. But cornering, we have a definite advantage, as you can see, and in DRS as well. And that's going to be crucial at this particular circuit. So I'm liking the look of this. They're going to be not great in the exits of the hairpins and the chicanes, and they're going to be very slow through Ascari and Parabolica as well. So it's looking very good for us. It's looking very good indeed. Their cooling is great. I wish I had that cooling on my car. Let's do a quick final check, make sure we've got no points for our drivers before we head into the Grand Prix. I think it was a wet race as well, if memory serves. No, it's a dry race. Okay. Let's have a look. No points. Andrew Green's contract is expiring in less than 3 months. Good, we can finally get rid of Andrew Green. Alessandro... Chris and Ben, no contracts, no points for them. Let's take a quick scout of our pit crew. Yeah, we definitely need this wing adjustment to improve. That's very low, unfortunately. Facilities, we're all up to date with those. So let's set ourselves some objectives for this Grand Prix. Right, given our pace... what is the incentive? 2 in the top 14. That should be straightforward enough. We're going to get 1 car into Q3 and both cars into Q2. Just that little lack of straight line speed on this particular circuit does make me a little wary of saying we're going to qualify well. In the race, we usually can do better than we qualify. It's just, you know, that qualifying pace could be tricky. Finish position is 1 in the top 14. We should be able to achieve that. We are going to go for the fastest lap. That might be tricky to get, but we'll go for it. The finish position, 1 in the top 15. And finish position, or quality streak, is 2 in the top 10. Okay, well, if that's our streak, we may as well lean into that. Evening, Marcel. Right, I think we are ready to head to Monza.
Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane. We're here at Monza in Italy, the home of Ferrari. But who will take home the points this weekend? Let's find out as we get started with the Italian Grand Prix. Monza, a centurion among circuits, dripping with motorsport history. Expect to see cars fly by as 80% of the track is tackled at full throttle. It's not all go, however, and brakes can be prone to overheating through the tight chicanes that Monza has to offer. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season, and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. Stay right here, because we're just getting started.
Okay, so a dry weekend in total. We're looking at 53 laps, as you can see. Let's take a quick look at the circuit by speed. There you can see those two low-speed corner exits. The first part of the second chicane and the first chicane in its entirety. One medium speed, which is the exit of the second chicane, and then everything else is high speed. So cornering wise, we're going to have a definite advantage over Mercedes. The DRS zones, we've got one on that downhill stretch. I say downhill stretch. Well, yeah, technically it's down then up. As we come out of the second Lesmo and we run down to Ascari, that's the first DRS zone, and then obviously we've got one on the main straight as well. With the slight advantage that we have in DRS over Mercedes, that'll be crucial at this particular circuit. Looking at strategy wise, one stops all the way, medium to soft or soft to medium, and then a medium hard is also an option. We're only going to be one stopping this. We're not going to try and two stop this race. It's just going to be a bit crazy, I think. Let's get some strategies sorted out, or setups sorted out. Let's start off by taking out the practice parts. 20% on that engine is fine. And that one. Onto the ERS modules. Gearboxes. There we go. Run plan for Monza is 19 laps. There we go. And setup. Let's go with a 2 front wing on this car, a 9 on the rear, a 1-9, a 3, and a 1. There we go. So we are set up on Freddie's car. Let's have a look at Felipe. So start with the tyres. We've done the parts set up. Let's do that in a minute. Let's get the run plan done first of all. There we go. Right, so for this one, let's go a little different. Let's go with a 1, a 9, a 2.8, a 3, and a 0.85. So we've got a little bit of variation there, and let's see how that works out.
Radio check. Radio check. Green light, green light.
Tuesday to Thursday is where it's at. Yep, I think the Challenge Mode series is it's more fun, but it can be a lot harder. let's let our boys do some laps and see what happens.
We've just had a spin. We've just had a car run wide.
So, in unrelated news, for anyone out there who does a bit of board gaming, I played my first game of Imperium Classics today. And I lost against the AI, but I was playing it slightly wrong. I've had another read through the rules and kind of figured out where I was going wrong. And the game is a little daunting the first time you play it, and trying to get your head around the rule book, because there's no real examples of play that are laid out that you sometimes see in other rule books. So you have to kind of figure it out for yourself. But yeah, I got my head around it, and I'm gonna have another game of that, I think, when I finish the stream tonight. I'm enjoying it. It's a fun game, and once I played a couple more games, I'm going to try using a couple of the different nationalities in the box, and then eventually I'll move on to Imperium Legends and play some of those as well.
What's your thoughts on coming in or doing any more?
Right, that's what I like to see. A good strong start to set up. A 97% for Freddie. That is very good indeed. Let's see what we can do for Felipe.
How does it feel?
Needs a little bit more work. 90%. That's not too bad though. So Verstappen has set an identical time to Leclerc, hence the lack of time there. Just need to tweak the front wing. Which way do I need to go? I'm going to go down one to a 1.5. Let's pull that back, or like that. And we'll try that. So we'll confirm that. Let's configure this one. So I'm going to push that to a 1.9. I'm going to pull that back like that, push that up just a touch. Actually, let's go back a touch like that. We might end up putting them onto almost identical setups here. Yeah, let's try that. So that's Freddie following out the Ferrari. And there goes Felipe. It's looking very close between Sainz, Leclerc and Verstappen. Less than a tenth separating the three of them.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
Bit of Kevin being Kevin. Making a mistake. And Danny Rick as well. So we went the right way with Vesti. Got that up to 100. That is excellent. And we improved to 94% with Felipe. So still a little bit of work to do. But we're making steps in the right direction now. And there we go. Very straightforward, uneventful session for us. That's what we like to see. So let's make some adjustments. Okay, so the braking stability needs to change. So that's going to be a toe change. Let's try going up and then just correct the cornering like that. And we'll go with that. Run plan. Now that we're into the second session, we're going to go 28 laps. That's probably too much. Let's drop that down to 26 laps. Tyres, we're going to go with medium tyres. 26 laps. I'm going to go 27, just to split the difference. 27 there. Drop the pace. Put on the mediums. There we go. We are good to go.
Radio check. Radio check. Radio check.
The last board game you played was Talisman. Yeah, I mean, board game has changed a lot over the years. I mean, it's certainly not, just the family board games like Game of Life and Cluedo and Monopoly and Risk. The typical family board games. It's not that that dominates the market now. Designer board games have been a thing for a very long time, but over the last 10, 15 years in particular, they've really exploded. And there are some fantastic games out there now. I've actually got a fair few in my collection now. I kind of started doing it last year. Picked up a couple of games last year, and I've been playing them over WhatsApp and Skype and stuff with friends. So I've got the Horrified games, Horrified Universal Monsters and Horrified American Monsters, although I've only played the Universal one with them so far. I've got Star Wars Outer Rim with the Unfinished Business expansion, which is fantastic. And the Unfinished Business expansion adds in a fantastic set of AI rules for playing against an automata bot. I've got Star Wars Clone Wars, which is based off the Pandemic game, and I've got Pandemic as well. Back to the Future Dice Through Time, which is not bad, it's decent. Alien Fate of the Nostromo, absolutely love that game. Jaws, that's a really good fun game. Kind of a two-part game. First part of it's hidden movement. One player plays as the shark and has to eat as many swimmers as possible without being detected by everyone else. And then in the second half, the shark is attacking the boat. And the results of the first half determine, how many special abilities the shark gets, or how much gear the crew gets to try and fight the shark at the end. What else have I got? Hostage Negotiator, which I haven't played yet. That's a solo game. Death Angel, which is an old Games Workshop card game, which hasn't been in production for a long time now. Cristallo, that's a fun little solo card game. And then Imperium Classics and Imperium Legends, and my big shiny, doesn't get used very often, but it's my big centerpiece game is Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the Core. I love that. It's such a big sprawling campaign game, but allows you to basically play the movie, the second movie, across a series of campaign missions. Don't break that one out very often, but because it takes a lot of space and it's quite involved, but it's a really good fun game. So yeah, that's my sort of board game collection. I think that's all of them. Oh, I've got Under Falling Skies as well, which is another solo game. It's kind of a cross between Space Invaders and Defender. Two classic kind of board games. Two classic old school arcade games.
What do you think?
Optimal setup. We get it to 100% with Felipe. So, both our cars are now fully set up. Now we just need to get our track knowledge up. I've got several other board games on my radar to pick up as well. Most of my games are solo / co-op games, so I can get the most money out of them when I'm by playing them on my own, as well as over Skype or something with other guys as well. But I do have my eyes on a few other little games that vary in price and size and scope. Up to 79% track knowledge, that's good. So a short stint on soft tyres in the next session will be all we'll need to do to get our guys fully ready for the weekend. Alonso's shown some pace in this session. He's throwing himself up there. Alright, session is over. So let's roll on Saturday. So we just need to run long enough to complete half an hour's worth of running, so 21 laps should be enough. Again, we're going to drop the pace. Going to run soft tyres on this stint. And let's go.
Radio check.
Radio check.
It should be green now.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
I've got a few more games sort of on back order that have been out of stock for a while, and they're all kind of Alien themed. So I've got a couple of the legendary Encounters games, the Alien legendary Encounters game, along with it the Queen expansion. And then the Predator variant as well. I've got those on back order. And another Alien game as well, which is Aliens Bug Hunt, which is a dice-based sort of dungeon game. I really do like the Alien games, as you can tell. I'm a huge fan of that franchise. You asked him about Frostpunk after I mentioned it. Yeah, there is a board game version of Frostpunk which is brutal. It's expensive, and it's glorious, and it's amazing, but it's that's very much a pipe dream for me, because if I was going to get it, I'd want to get it with all the bells and whistles and add-ons and everything, and that would just cost me an absolute fortune that I can't afford or justify. So I'll just have to be content with the video game. Although I am looking forward to Frostpunk 2. That is in development. The closed beta as at the developers' studios has taken place now, and they've got some feedback.
I think someone's run wide.
So hopefully we're getting closer to an announcement as to when that game's actually going to be out. And there we go. Both our guys have completed half an hour's worth of running, got their track knowledge up to 100, their setups are 100. We are good. You hope the upcoming Alien game meets my expectations. Yeah, I'm really excited for Dark Descent. It looks really promising. My only concern is that it's going to be a lot smaller than I think a lot of people are expecting it to be a really big game in terms of the amount of content. I really enjoyed Aliens Fireteam Elite, but it was very short on content. Although they have released a lot of free additions throughout the first year. We're into year 2 now in the release window and the development window, and they are dropping a Switch version of the game tomorrow on Alien Day, and they're also releasing a new free Horde mode update as well to add another Horde mode level for all platforms. So I'll be playing that tomorrow after the stream. I'll be gearing up and trying out the new Horde mode. But that game was severely lacking in content, and I'm just a little worried about Dark Descent being the same. Really good fun game to play, but just not enough content. You're still to start Isolation. Yeah, I had Isolation for about 6 years before I finally played it properly all the way through. I did it for Halloween a few years ago as a live stream.
Good session.
And I loved it. You do get that kind of fear paralysis where you just that indecision of what to do, and you end up just spending like 5 minutes just in a locker room, hiding in a locker. Every time you're thinking, okay, right, I think it's clear, I'm going to start moving out, and then you hear the alien drop down. It's like, nope, I'm going to stay in here. But absolutely loved that game. I need to go back and play it one more time, because I am one trophy away from the platinum. I think maybe 2 trophies. I think I'm 2 trophies away from the platinum, but I can do that in a single playthrough. It's just, you know, getting round to it, sitting down and playing through the whole game again. And it's been a while, so I would have to play from the beginning again. But yeah, Isolation is fantastic. And so if you do want to check out some previous footage on my channel, then I do have the complete playthrough plus the Nostromo DLCs, you know, at the end as well. The Crew Expendable and I forget what the other one was called. But there were 2 Nostromo themed DLCs. One where you play as various members of the crew, and then another one where you play as Ripley. And they're all there as a live stream series. You'll find that in my playlists. Right, time for quali. Let's put the good bits in the car. So best engines, etc, etc. There we go. ERS modules, we're going to go with modules that are in good shape but not necessarily perfect condition. They don't need to be. And gearboxes, we want solid gearboxes, so we will go with pretty new gearboxes. There we go. Anything else we need to do? No. Right. Let's actually do some qualifying. It's been a few days since we've actually tried to take part in quali, rather than sitting out as we have been with the Williams team. Let's go out and do a Bankel run. So this should be enough to get us through, assuming we get clean runs and we don't get held up. We're going to give Albon a nice little tow by the look of it. And we are getting that clean run. And there we go. Albon gets a very nice little tow, and it brings him right behind us. We may well see the AI do a little bit of slipstreaming for their quali runs here. It's something we do tend to see at this circuit, usually with Red Bull. Sometimes with Ferrari, sometimes with Mercedes, but almost always with Red Bull. Right, no slipstreaming going on in this one. Although we have got a few that are close to each other. Hamilton's trying to get a slipstream off Perez. Oh, someone's made a mistake.
Who's running wide there?
It's Vettel.
They've gone wide!
Oh, mistake for Albon, but he's already going to be through thanks to that slipstream from us. Hamilton's slipstreaming of Perez pays off, throws him way up to the top. I think Perez got a bit of a slipstream off the back of Schumacher there as well. And there we go. So that's the end of Q1. Ricardo, Schumacher, Magnussen, Zhou, and Stroll are eliminated. Wow, both Haas are out. And Magnussen's got a penalty as well, so that's not good for him. On to Q2. We'll do a run on scrubs and then see where we are, but we should be okay on those.
Radio check.
Radio check.
And let's try a slipstream run, see how well our drivers can follow each other. But yeah, going back to isolation, I bought that at launch, and I tried to play it, and I played it for about 3 hours, and I got distracted and started playing something else, and I never went back to it, and it took me nearly 6 years to actually sit down and play it in the end. Alright, so Vessi's in position to get a nice, good tow on these long straights here. Verstappen might get in the way. Albon might have got in the way of Felipe there. He did. You can see how much time Freddie Freddie gained, to the point where he actually went half a second faster than Felipe, which he wouldn't have been able to do had Felipe not been held up by Albon there. So Felipe might well have to run again. Freddie is probably safe, but tyres aren't really going to be a concern because of the wear rate isn't too bad, and we're going to one-stop this. So we will run both drivers on a brand new set of softs before the end of the session. Verstappen setting an identical time to Sainz. And there we go, both our guys going out in formation. And let's see what kind of pace we've got with a slipstream here. This might be our chance to try and sneak a pole in Q3. Ocon got a slipstream from somebody, I think, to have jumped up that quickly. Got Felipe punching a hole for Freddie here. and it jumps Freddie up to second place. And that's the kind of gap that I was expecting to see, a couple of tenths rather than over half a second between the two drivers. So, for the first run, we are going to do a scrub run. And I'm going to send out both my guys at the same time. And this time we're going to give Felipe the tow. So we can kind of see how much of a benefit that'll be to Felipe. And see whether it's going to be more beneficial to us to try and catapult Felipe onto the front row and potentially pole position, or give Vesti the boost that he might need a little bit more. Alright, we get clear of Verstappen, that was important. Drogovic is all over the back of Vesti here. Alonso's not going to get in the way, and we do a 1:21.8. And the AI's times were on we're on new tyres, and we use scrubs there, so that is very encouraging. So now what we'll do is we'll switch them round. So we're going to go with a brand new set, which is something we don't normally do. We normally try and keep at least 2 sets of softs available for the Grand Prix. We're only going to keep 1 brand new set available for this Grand Prix. We're going to go for a front row lockout here, if we can. It should be amazing if we can do that. And this time we're going to get Felipe to take the lead and give Freddie the tow. Because the AI should not, in theory, unless they do some slipstreaming of their own, should not be able to beat Felipe's time, because they'll be going back out on scrub tyres now. I'm just having a look. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be close enough to do any slipstreaming here. Let's give them that little bit of a gap. So let's send both drivers out at the same time again. And there we go. Move Felipe into the lead. Give Freddie the tow. This is much harder to do when your car is not fantastic in dirty air, but when you've got a car that's really strong in dirty air, as ours is, it makes it much easier to get the slipstream, because it makes it much easier to follow another car. So here we go. Can we lock out the front row for the first time ever? One of the Red Bulls has caught the back of one of the Mercedes. That is a little worrying. Perez can't beat Felipe's time. Okay, so Felipe's looking like he's going to take pole position here. Or he's going to hold pole position. Yeah, Verstappen gets a bit of a toe off the back of one of the Alpines, but it's not enough. Vesti is improving in both sectors. And here you can see he's really closing up on this back straight here. There should be enough to at least, you know, move him up to second. Is it enough to actually snatch pole from Felipe? It is. So we've got a 1-2 lockout front row. That is awesome. Whew. Very, very happy with that. And now we can control the pace of the Grand Prix. So because we've got the front row locked out, we are going to start on mediums.
The grid is packed and there's electricity in the air. But there's no surprises in that. It's race day.
There was some astonishing work from Aston Martin during qualifying, and their drivers are now poised to have a very strong race start. Mercedes ran into a number of issues during qualifying, and they won't be starting the race where they'd want to be. But anything can happen, and they're surely ready to take any opportunity that comes their way. We've been having sunny weather here today, but there are some clouds looming that might complicate things for teams further down the line.
Well, one thing we do know, this race is going to be fast, and Monza is ready for it.
Okay, right. We're not going to take any fuel out. We are going to go aggressive off the line just to make sure that we hold the lead. And that is our planned strategy. Let's go lap 32 for Freddie and lap 31 for Felipe. Freddie a little bit better at looking after his tyres. There we go. We are ready to go racing.
The drivers there lined up on the grid under mostly sunny skies. Taking a look at the Aston Martin. They're starting today at the head of the pack, but will they be able to stay there? There's the second Aston Martin. They're in second place on the grid, but that could so easily change in the first few seconds of the race. And we're just moments away now. Here we go. It's the Italian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Okay, we need a strong start. Both the Red Bulls behind us are on mediums as well. I see both Ferraris are on softs. Okay, we got the sprint away. We're not going to be able to break the toe and keep the toe broken. So we're going to turn off the DRS, or the ERS, sorry. Turn off the battery. And until DRS is activated, we are going to tell Freddie to just stay tucked up behind so that he doesn't force Felipe to go defensive, because he's not going to have the pace to overtake without DRS. So we can just let Felipe drive as fast as he can. Just going to do another lap, just burning the fuel a little bit. And then we'll calm the fuel usage down as well.
Drop back a bit.
Yeah, copy.
And I want to try and protect the tyres a little bit while we're leading this Grand Prix. Just so that we're in a stronger position towards the end of the stint than the AI. Because we'll have put some extra heat in our tyres in that opening lap.
Lift and coast will help.
Copy.
There we go. So I'm expecting the Red Bulls to start challenging us as soon as the DRS activates. And with us dropping the tyre pace slightly, this is a bit of a gamble. Verstappen may try and pounce straight away. And like I said, I want to try and just keep those tyres alive a little bit longer than the AI can. If we weren't running 1-2, I wouldn't even try that, I don't think. Because it would just be asking to be overtaken. But because we're running 1-2, if there's going to be any overtakes, it should just be hopefully between our two drivers and everyone else gets stuck behind. We're going to give Freddie free rein now that DRS has been activated. So that he can step out and make those passes. That protects him from Verstappen behind, and in a way will also protect Felipe a bit as well. And then I think keep switching positions. And it potentially blocks a move from the car behind that's trying to get through. My only concern is that we do risk a lock-up taking both of our drivers out. That's the only risk with this strategy, which is another reason why I'm just telling them to go a little bit easier on the tyres at the moment as well, just to try and prevent them from doing anything rash, although it doesn't seem to really help in some cases. We've seen lock-ups when we've not been pushing. Yeah, we just got to keep our fingers crossed that they don't do anything stupid, because it will be catastrophic if we have an accident between our two drivers at this circuit. Given how fast the cars go, we'll lose a lot of ground getting back to the pits. Then with the tyre changes and the wing changes and any potential damage that can't be immediately fixed, we'll drop a long way off the back of the grid, and it'll be very hard for us to catch up. So let's take a look at tyres, see who's starting on what tyres. As we said earlier, the Red Bulls on mediums, the Ferraris are on softs. Behind that, we've got Alonso on softs, Ocon on mediums, Hamilton and Bottas on mediums, Russell and Albon on softs. Gasly's on mediums, Vettel and Norris are on softs, Schumacher, Ricciardo are on mediums, Magnussen and Zhou are on softs, and then Stroll is on mediums. So a real mix. But half the grid's medium, half the grid's soft. Just skewed 11-9 in favour of the mediums. We've got a lock-up behind. That is one of the McLarens. It's Norris.
Single yellow.
Oh no, Magnussen.
Let's have a look. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here. Just a bit too heavy on the brakes.
Have we just really dropped the McLarens that quickly then? I just saw that gap between Norris. That's a big gap. Very big gap between Vettel and Norris already after just four and a half laps to be 5 seconds behind. And now you can see how with our drivers going for the overtakes and not necessarily pulling them off, that they are blocking the overtakes from behind. Perez trying to throw it up the inside here. He's going to get through, so we're going to go deploy.
Use energy if you need it. Use energy.
With a yellow flag in sector 1. Another lockup.
I think there's been a lockup.
It's Magnussen again.
We can take a look now. Now just focus on the Haas.
Turn 1 again.
They've locked up, but that could have been much worse.
So Magnussen not having a good old time. Let's up the tyre pace a touch now.
Happy to push.
Just because we're at risk. Oh, brave from Freddie. Very brave. Need to give him some space.
Use energy.
Okay, copy.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful work.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
Another lockup. Is that Magnussen again? No, it's a Williams this time. It's Joe.
Yellow.
Let's take a closer look. Let's take another look. There we have Joe. And this, yes, there, that's the lockup. The team are devastated. There'll be questions.
So, looks as though protecting the tyres might not really be something that we can risk doing. It's just going to leave us a bit too vulnerable. So we'll just have to stick with normal tyre pace. I mean, we saved a percent. Oh, Perez, he's trying to do what Freddie did. Trying to dive up the inside. It's going to become the outside on Parabolica, and I think we've got the hold on that position. Just, yeah, we hold him off. But yeah, it's a little bit too risky, I think, us trying to protect the tyres. We have gained a little bit of tyre life over the Red Bulls, and this is potentially dangerous. Perez might try and get a move done here. Going 3 wide into the chicane, that's a risk. Again, just holding them back just enough. It's going to be really tense like this for the next, next 22 laps or so until we get to our pit stops. Just that you know, clinging on for the positions and praying to God that nobody locks up, because given how close everybody is, if Verstappen locks up as we brake hard into one of these chicanes, that is all four of us out. Okay, so we've got Perez boxed in right now. Oh.
If you need.
Yeah, copy.
Perez jumps into the lead. See if we can reclaim that position.
That's it.
Oh, yellow flag behind us. That's a McLaren, I think.
Red Bull moved up. Oh, did someone run?
No, it's
wide
Vettel
there?
again. I'm just
Let's take a look at the replay.
we're
Taking
not
a
able
look
to pick
again,
these up very
it
clearly.
involves Sebastian
There we go.
Vettel. They've gone wide.
That didn't cost him too much. Okay, Vesti's back into first. Drogovic
Looks
trying
like
to
Aston
find his way
Martin have
past
just gained a race
Perez.
position.
I'm starting to run out of battery, so I need to be a little careful now. Got a run on the back of Perez here. Just going to go for it under braking at the chicane. Can't quite get there. As I think about going up the inside of the first Lesmo. Right, I think we've done pretty much all we can. Perez is probably going to get the move on Freddie here. DRS is open. We're getting a nice little slipstream here. We'll try and get Felipe recharged. We'll do the same with Freddie at the first opportunity. I think next time Perez goes for the overtake, we'll let him do it. We won't fight it. Because that way we can put Vesti into charge mode.
Yeah, copy.
And use the DRS to stay close while we charge up. Tyres are in really good shape. And we're right on board the rear wing of Checkout. I didn't even think to compare our car to the Ferrari or the Red Bull because I just didn't think we would have that kind of pace here to really challenge for the win, but the boys are giving themselves a very strong account here.
Energy's good.
Confirm.
So again, now we just kind of need to be patient. It's all going to come down to the pit stops, I think. So what we'll probably do is do what we did at Silverstone, where we'll stay tucked up, we'll wait for the pit stops, and then we'll just sprint like hell and see if we can get an overcut. It'll be tough because we'll be going from Perez will be going from warm mediums to brand new soft, so it'll be very tricky. The other option is that we try and go for an undercut and then just protect the pace of the tyres a little bit. That might be worth trying with one of our drivers. So I might try that with Freddie, because he's better at looking after his tyres, so he can make those softs last a little bit longer. As Felipe is having a lunge.
You've got loads of energy.
Copy.
It's Freddie. Freddie's through.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
But yeah, I think we'll try and do a variation of the Silverstone strategy. So we'll box Freddie early and go for the undercut, and then we'll box Felipe a lap after Perez / Verstappen, and do the sprint and go for the overcut.
Red Bull gained a place.
Alright, both of our batteries are fully charged. We're due to stop on laps 31 and laps 32, so that's going to change, potentially. I'm not going to make changes to strategy just yet, although we've got the idea of what we're going to do. I'm going to wait and see what happens in the next 10 laps or so. We could get a safety car, that could change everything. If we do get a safety car, I will almost certainly take advantage of it. What tyres I go on to, I'm not sure yet. A safety car in about 5-10 laps would be extremely beneficial to all the guys who are on softs. So half the grid would be able to just jump in and go onto mediums about when they were supposed to anyway. Whereas all the medium runners, including us, would probably have to go either switch to a two-stop, which I don't know if we'd have the pace to pull that off, or go to a one-stop on hard tyres, which would not be ideal, because we would then have a significant pace deficit to the soft runners. who switched on to mediums. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Got to see what happens. Perez trying to cover off both of our cars at the moment. Is he going to lose out to both of them? No, he's going to hold them both back. You see Railway Empire 2 is on pre-orders. Yeah, Railway Empire 2 is coming out very soon. I have been looking at it, thinking about maybe getting that one. I did have quite a bit of fun with the first one, so...
Gone wide there.
Main bulk of the field is still relatively close together. I mean, we've got this this train at the front of the two Red Bulls, two Astons, and Charles Leclerc. It's 5-car breakaway, separated by less than a second, give or take, about a second. And then Sainz a couple of seconds back, scrapping with Alonso and Hamilton. Ocon a little bit further back. Then a little bit of separation where some of the drivers are getting spaced out. So Bottas, then Albon, you know, a couple of seconds back from Ocon each. Then you've got Russell in a fight with Albon and Gasly, and then another little gap to Vettel. Then Schumacher's dropped a fair bit off with Norris and Ricciardo. Magnussen a long way off, given those two lockups he had, and he does not seem to be improving at all. Has he damaged his tyres? No, I don't think he has. And, you know, the Williams showing typical Williams pace. In other words, no pace.
Stay cool, man. You're doing a good job.
Red Bull moved up.
The Ferrari soft tyres are hanging on quite nicely. And Sainz boxing early, so is that for mediums or is that for hards? It is for mediums, so he is going for an undercut. That's a very early stop.
This is good, come on.
Let's see, where's he going to come out?
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
And we've had another lockup. And it's Norris involved in a lockup there. Oh, it's a crash. Is this a safety car? Or is it just a yellow?
It's a crash, and it's more.
I think it's
than
just
one
a yellow.
car. Here's the replay. Now just take a look at the McLaren.
Yeah, just a clumsy little lockup from Norris there. Breaks his front wing, gets himself a penalty.
Someone's run wide.
Verstappen has gone wide.
Now here we see Max Verstappen. And they've gone wide.
Nearly collected Leclerc on his re-entry to the track. That's going to hurt him. That's going to drop him off the back of Leclerc. So now it's a 3-car break at the front. Leclerc's now about a second off. I don't know if he's going to have enough pace to get back into DRS. Because those soft tyres are starting to really struggle. So Leclerc might get dropped here. Verstappen will catch the back of Leclerc. Closes up quickly under braking there, and I think that's probably just about saved him. Yeah, that's saved him. He's got himself back into range. So Norris into the pits, changing his tyres, fixing that front wing, serving his penalty. And now Leclerc is boxing, and so is Alonso. And I saw the Red Bull mechanics, so one of the Red Bull drivers is boxing next lap, by the look of it. Unless it was the McLaren mechanics I saw. Yeah, Russell is in the pits. It was the Mercedes mechanics that I saw, not the Red Bull mechanics. I was going to say it's very early for a medium driver to stop. Max sets a new fastest lap at 1:25.3. Getting a very nice DRS there. Magnussen finally gets off his soft tyres. I've got another yellow flag. Someone's run wide.
I think someone's run wide.
It's Gasly this time.
Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one. Going wide like that could cost them valuable time.
That will have lost him about a second.
Red Bull gained a place.
So now it becomes a very interesting fight between us and the Red Bulls. Leclerc will still be a factor. He's got himself ahead of Ricciardo, so he's got himself some clean air now. Sainz is still stuck. He's behind Schumacher and Alonso in a three-car little fight there. So he's got some work to do to really take advantage of those fresh tyres, whereas Leclerc, with that clean air and a 9-second gap to Vettel, will really be able to run at some very fast pace now. But he will be vulnerable to being caught by the front four when we all switch onto soft tyres. In about 10 laps.
You're doing a good job.
Looks like Aston Martin have just gained a race position.
A lot of back and forth here. Our drivers should be getting some really good experience points out of this as well, with some good defending, good defences, good defending, some good overtakes. You know, failed overtakes as well will also chip in some points. Vettel dives in, get rid of his soft tyres. We've got a McLaren mechanic out for Ricciardo. Schumacher's boxing as well. It's a very good stop there for Vettel. Oh, Ricciardo's going hards. Oh, that's interesting. He's gone from mediums to hards. Schumacher doing the same. He's going medium to hards. Very interesting. Did not expect that at all. What's Stroll going to do? Yeah, he's on mediums as well, so he's got to be going hards. Yeah, it's a strange strategy. I don't think it's the right one at all. You want to stay off the hards at all costs, really, here at Monza.
Red Bull moved up.
You lose so much pace in the corners
You're doing a good
on
job.
hards compared to the mediums and especially the softs.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
So use energy if you need it.
Copy.
For a second then, I was a little slow reacting to that, but we had a chance to retake a 1-2 position there. And the opportunity's gone. See if it presents itself here again. No, it's going to be a clean overtake.
Red Bull gained a place.
We just need to charge up.
Copy.
Just top that battery back up again. We need as much battery as we could possibly have for when we sprint.
Okay, energy's good.
Okay, copy.
If we're going to do this undercut overcut
Loads of energy.
split.
Yeah, copy.
Alright, so let's take a look at the positions. Sainz is now clear of Albon, Schumacher, etc. He's 3 seconds behind Leclerc and closing, by the look of it. Yeah, he's half a second quicker on that last lap. Might have been some DRS assistance there. And the Ferraris are lapping faster than us here at the front, as you can see. So
Nicely done.
we are definitely going to lose position to Leclerc. He's going to inherit the lead.
Looks like Aston Martin
I
has
think-
just gained a race position.
He's 22 seconds off, but I think he'll have enough pace to reduce that down to whatever's needed to take the lead. And Sainz could now potentially become a bit of an issue as well. Again, we're going to have much more pace when we do make the stop, because we're going to be on brand new softs against some used mediums. So we should be able to hunt them down pretty quickly. Perez is once again going to push through into the lead.
Let's focus.
The good thing for us is that we have kept Verstappen back in fourth. Verstappen is the danger man of this group because he is the one with the most natural pace. So we would be lapping faster if we were following him, but it would also be much harder to control the pace and stay in touch. You know, once we got separated from him.
You've done a good job.
Aston Martin with a great play
Claire's
there.
closed
They've
by
moved up
another
a place.
second. Sainz is closed by about a second as well. Those Ferraris definitely going to be the ones to try and overhaul.
Red Bull gained a place.
Trying really hard not to invoke the curse of the commentator. Okay, we're getting into the pit window for Felipe. I'm still wondering whether or not to go for the sprint undercut for Freddie.
Doing a good job. Keep pushing.
All right, yeah, let's go for it. Let's undercut with Freddie.
Good job. And box.
Copy, box.
Yeah, take it easy.
Copy.
Get back off.
Yeah, copy.
All right, so here we go then. Oh, he didn't pit.
Red Bull
He was
moved
stuck in an
up.
overtake attempt, so he didn't pit. That's annoying. All right. Hopefully he'll box at the end of this lap. If Red Bull dive in the box this lap now, I'm going to be pissed. I'm also going to have to change the strategy. Well, I won't be able to change the strategy because I'll be following him in. Yeah, my plan was to try and hold the field up a little bit with Felipe while Vesti boxed. didn't quite work, unfortunately. Leclerc is now just 18 seconds off the back of this group, so he's going to be in first once the pit stop shake out. Sainz 22 seconds there. There's no question that we are definitely lapping slower, but we're still pulling away from Hamilton. He's 5 seconds off the back of us. Right, are we going to get the pit stop done? He's got clear space this time. He should dive into the box. And there we go. He's in.
Copy, copy. Just pit limiter, just a reminder on pit limiter. We think we can lean on the tyres more.
Yeah, copy.
So a good solid
Energy
stop.
if you need it.
Here comes Leclerc.
Doing a good job, that's going to help you.
Looks like Aston Martin.
And there goes
just gained the
Sainz
race
and Alonso.
position.
I'm going to box Felipe this lap. Which is why I started sprinting him.
Box this
Because
lap.
neither Red Bull has gone for the pit stop yet.
We've just had a car run wide.
Ocon makes a
Take look
mistake.
now. Okay, so there we have the Alpine. And they've gone
Drops
wide,
him behind
very
Hamilton.
wide. That's not ideal. Not ideal at all.
Right, will we see a Red Bull follow us in? No, the Red Bulls are carrying on. So this is our chance to undercut the Red Bulls.
You can stop lift and coast.
Yeah, copy.
There's some very interesting driving there from Felipe, thanks to the two cars fighting side by side, coming going into the pits there. Oh, you know, as we came out of the pits.
No saving required.
Copy.
And we are kind of stuck behind two cars I did not really want to be stuck behind because they're fighting each other. Okay, what's the gap? 22 seconds, 23 seconds, so... yeah, that's the kind of gap that we're looking at. About 23, 24 seconds is what's needed on a pit stop here. Both the Red Bulls have stayed out. Hopefully that gap will continue to come down.
Use energy.
Copy.
Now we're going to go on the aggressive. On the offensive. Up the inside of Sainz.
This is good.
We'll get Alonso here, touch wood. Straight past him. Vesti's already passed Sainz. We couldn't pull out and make the move on Alonso because Sainz was side by side with us.
This is good.
Try and get Alonso in Parabolica. And the Red Bulls are still yet to box. We've got the gap down to 20 seconds now. And we've got a spin.
Sounds like a spin.
It's Ocon.
Let's take a look
He's
at
having
the
a bit of
replay. Now have a watch of this.
a
Looks
tricky
like
few
Ocon.
laps. Under pressure from Hamilton, he goes wide. Now under pressure from Russell, he spins himself out.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved
And
up a
Perez
place.
is in the pits. I thought he'd gone hard for a second then. He's on softs. We should jump him here. Yes, we do. And Sainz and Alonso are also ahead of him. So that's worked out beautifully. So we're just 5 seconds off Charles Leclerc right now.
We just need to charge up.
Copy.
We've got enough pace to make sure we get out ahead of Verstappen. And we've even got enough pace to be able to just charge our batteries up while we're running like this without real threat from behind. There is Max going into the pits. It's a good stop for Max. There goes Leclerc. There go our cars. Along with Alonso and Sainz. Where's Perez? There's Perez. So now we are in prime position to get a result here. That's the tyre situation.
Save fuel.
Yep, copy.
Because we went slightly early, I am looking after the tyres for the first few laps of this run, just to get the balance back on par with the Red Bulls. We've got plenty of time to haul in Leclerc, and as soon as we stop charging, we should start hauling him in pretty quickly. Lapping about half a second slower at the moment because we're not using any battery. One more lap of charge. And then we go hunting down the Ferrari at Monza. Just to really piss off the Tifosi.
Got loads of energy.
Okay, copy.
Energy's good.
Yep.
I'm hoping the Red Bulls are going to struggle to fight their way through as well. It's another reason why I decided to get the battery charged up now, before the Red Bulls could start fighting their way through, so that we could try and maybe pull away from this group and leave them all battling and give us that breathing room we need. Although it does look like Sainz might get lunged. No, he's okay. Alright, it's not quite fully charged, but it's close enough. Okay, so we're 6.3 seconds behind Leclerc, who did a 1:24.9 last lap. We did 1:25.1s. Let's see what we do this lap. That gap should start coming down. I did notice you were being relatively quiet there, Farah. Alright, 6.2. So we are lapping about a tenth faster than Leclerc. We're still not on full tyre push mode. Been burning off some of that excess fuel.
Save fuel, save fuel.
Copy.
Let's up the tyre pace now. That should increase
All
our
okay
pace.
on fuel, so you can do what you want for speed.
Copy.
And I
Good
think
job, keep pushing.
let's break away if we can
You
as
can
well.
use energy. Use energy. You can use energy.
Copy.
So it does mean we're going to have to charge our batteries up again. But if we can break away from these two, that should hopefully slow down the Red Bulls a bit. Oh, something for Farah to cheer him
Now
up.
watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this one. They're forced wide.
That
and
will have cost him half a second. There is Charles. hunting down the back of Stroll. So if we're going to break away, this is where it needs to happen before we get to the run to Ascari. And I don't know if it's going to happen. It's not. Alonso's too close. Which to me suggests we're going to have to burn tyres to do it. Another lockup. It's Schumacher.
Looks like there's been a lockup. Here's the replay. Now just focus on the Haas. And yes, that's the lockup.
And he's picked himself up a 5-second penalty for that. Alright, let's go for it on this lap. Really go for it. We've almost broken away from Alonso. Just hopefully Stroll is not going to get in the way and cause a delay for us here. Alright, there we go. That's the 1 second that we needed. Just in time because we're out of battery. Stroll dives out of the way and we've got our gap.
Okay, copy.
Drop back a bit.
Copy.
Question now is Alonso going to get a DRS off the back of Stroll? He might do. Perez has passed Sainz. And now past Alonso. So Alonso didn't get the DRS by the look of it. We have closed the gap down to Leclerc to 3.7 seconds. And Alonso's been dropped by Perez already, partly I think down to the tyre difference, partly down to that Williams and Stroll getting in the way. So we're going to do some micromanaging on the charging here. Sainz gets past Alonso. Verstappen's still stuck behind the pair of them. And this is good because Perez is isolated. Don't you catch me, don't you catch me. He's just going to sneak it, I think. He did, damn it. That screws up everything. Alright, 11 laps to go, including this one. We've got a yellow flag.
I think we've had a car run wide. Let's have a look. Now look at this, it's Pierre Gasly. They're way off the rank.
Gasly costing himself about a second or so there. We are lapping a little bit faster than the Ferrari. Not a huge amount, but enough to close the gap. It's going to be close though. I thought we'd be catching faster than this. I really did. And our tyres are starting to drop off. Verstappen finally gets past Alonso. Now he's got to try and find his way past Sainz. And he should be able to do that here. Oh, maybe not. Looked like he went a little wide. Alonso's side by side with him. No, Alonso has completed the move, so he should start to roll up onto the back of us pretty quickly now. We're not actually closing down Leclerc. We're going to have to push again to get onto the back of him by the look of it. So this is where the lack of our straight line speed is hurting us. Because we just don't have enough pace on our own to lap fast enough consistently to hunt down Leclerc, which is a bit of a shame. I was honestly hoping that we would have enough pace to catch the Ferrari. I didn't think we'd have enough pace to fight the Red Bulls, which is why we had to go early on the pits, but I thought we'd have enough pace to fight Leclerc. But, it's not quite happening the way I'd like it to. Still, it's only 3 seconds. That is definitely catchable. We do have Zhou in front. We can maybe, if we're lucky, get some DRS off the back of him. Or at least get a clean pass so he's not going to hold us up. There's no other traffic now between Leclerc and us once we get past Zhou. And there's no other traffic in front of Leclerc that is going to play a factor in this Grand Prix. Unless they have an off and lose a chunk of time, because there's a big enough gap on track for that Leclerc not to be able to catch anyone up. Okay, a little bit of a hold up there from the Williams of Zhou, but it's not all bad. There is the gap. No, Freddie.
Let's see what happened there. So this was the Aston Martin.
He buckled. He buckled under the pressure.
Oh, big lock up there.
Oh God, now Felipe's locked up. What the hell? Our race has just fallen apart in the space of 2 corners. Oh my God. What is going on? We were on for a double podium and potentially a win. Potentially even a 1-2 here. And then in the space of 2 corners, both our drivers lock up and drop down 5 places each. We're still in the points. And we're still ahead of Mercedes. So we are still going to gain on them and outscore them. But what a nightmare. Like I said, we were looking good for the chance to win that Grand Prix. We were guaranteed, well not guaranteed, but we were pretty much a lock-on for a double podium. And then it just all fell apart again. How often have we seen that in the last few races?
We have low batteries.
Yeah, copy.
We can still salvage a couple more positions. I'm just 1.5 seconds off the back of this Sainz Perez Verstappen. Sorry, Sainz Verstappen Alonso fight. Tyres are struggling.
Happy to push.
Okay, copy.
Five more laps.
Struggling to the point where I'm not even sure I've got enough pace to actually close down Verstappen. Sainz has jumped him, and that's what I need. I need a slower car to hold up Verstappen because I can't match his pace. And Sainz and Alonso are just going to sit in his DRS. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's our race done. It's not over till the checkered flag. It's entirely possible that someone else could have a lock-up. But we've just got nothing left to fight with. We can't take the fight to Alonso because he's lapping at Verstappen's pace, and we don't have enough pace in the car to lap at Verstappen's pace, especially with tyres in worse condition. All I can do now is get our 2 drivers, together.
Four more laps.
Actually, there isn't much point in that. Need to be where we are to capitalise. What a disappointing end to this race. It was all going so well. We played the patient game. We hadn't overly stressed the car. We kept it clean and tidy throughout the entire weekend, and then right when it got to the nitty-gritty, they both threw it away on the same lap within a corner of each other. So disheartening. But like I said, I'm taking the positives out of it. We're still in the points. We're still outscoring Mercedes. They're going to get 1 point. We're going to get 5.
3 more laps. 3 more laps.
So we will close the gap to them by 4 points. It just could have been much more points. We could have had 14 points plus out of this Grand Prix. It is going to be a win for Charles Leclerc. Ferrari are going to get the dream result of a Ferrari win at Monza. You can hear the Tifosi going crazy in the background. Sainz could yet pip Verstappen for that second podium spot as well. And we're just falling further and further behind. I'm just going to bring it home.
Get back off.
Copy.
Yeah, take it easy.
Copy.
Two more laps.
So this is the only real drama that's left on track now, and Sainz, not only passed by Verstappen on the main straight, is also passed by Alonso in the chicane as well. So he's got 2 laps to gain 2 places. There we go, final lap. Leclerc just needs to bring it home.
So this is last lap.
I don't think Sainz is going to get either Alonso or Verstappen here. But is Alonso going to get Verstappen? Come on, Alonso. Alonso just had not enough drive through there. Max is going to hold on for third. Vesti's tyres are dead, but he's going to hold on for sixth ahead of a teammate, Felipe.
Check it flag.
beats him by 100th of a second. By a 10th, sorry.
Nice checkered flag.
Hamilton comes home in 8th. Gets some points again. That is good points for Alpine there. Alonso with that strong race to 4th. Nearly getting the podium on the final corners. Well, once again, it's a disappointing end to a race that promised so much and then just snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And I could have lived with it if it was just one driver who'd made that mistake. But we got Vesti back on the track. I immediately cut to Drugovich to check on his progress, and he'd done exactly the same thing at the next chicane. I was like, oh dear.
What an incredible outcome for Aston Martin's driver. Today, Aston Martin demonstrated that they can go very far indeed.
Yes, there's definitely cause for celebration here. This team can take anything that's thrown at them and come through even stronger.
And after this result, the team is 4th in the constructor standings.
Meet us next at the Marina Bay Circuit for a breathtaking race through the streets of Singapore.
Okay, so a few negatives there, but looking at the positives, we had good pace, even though we didn't have the straight line speed that we really needed to be able to compete, and our tyres were dead due to stopping several laps earlier than the Red Bulls. We did have good race pace, and we did hold them back for almost the entire Grand Prix until that mistake from both of our drivers there. Got to take into account that they are still young drivers. They're not as established, they're not as highly skilled as the guys that are ahead of them on track. Leclerc, Perez, Verstappen, Alonso, Sainz, these guys are all 86 and above rated. We're not even at 76 yet. No, best driver is Freddie at 75. So taking that into consideration, that's a strong, solid result. I mean, we beat out Hamilton quite comfortably in the end. I think we've reached the point. We've reached a point where our drivers are kind of at the limit of the performance they can gain or they can give in the car at their current skill level. The car just doesn't quite have enough straight line speed to really challenge on these fast circuits. It'll be much more different, I think, at Singapore. I think we'll be much more able to compete pace-wise at Singapore, because it's a lot of corners, and our car is excellent in the corners. My only concern is the braking. So I know I wasn't going to do another upgrade for the car, but we might have to do one last emergency upgrade. We might have to do a suspension, because that's a quick upgrade, just to give us a little bit more brake cooling, just to try and reduce those lockups a little bit more. Luckily, we didn't damage the car. We didn't, career off into a barrier. We didn't collide with anyone. But it does worry me a little bit that we're still locking up another circuit like Singapore with those concrete walls at the edge of the track. There is no runoff area. It is just, you lock up, you're breaking something. So yeah, we might look at squeezing in another suspension just to give us a little bit more brake cooling, just to try and help reduce a lockup chance again. In the driver's standings, Max loses a couple more points to Perez, so that gap is down to 7 points now. It's a real fight between the two Red Bull drivers to become the world champion this season. Leclerc's title is gone. He's not going to retain his title this season. But it's game on between Max and Sergio. Just 7 points between them. Good points for Charles, and decent points for Sainz. Charles is now looking a lot more likely to get third place in the standings. No points for Russell. Hamilton closes the gap by another point. Very, very close between those two there. And we also close in on the pair of them as well. Freddie's now just 2 points behind Hamilton, and Felipe another 3 points further back. No points for Ocon. So we've opened up a little bit more of a gap to him. We're now 5 points clear of him. And those points for Fernando have brought him within a point of his teammate as well. So there's lots of little battles, and really close run battles forming in the run to the end of the season here between teammates. Our two teammates, just 3 points between them. These two teammates, just 1 point between them. 11 points between the two Ferraris, just 7 points between the two Red Bulls, just 1 point between the two Alpines, just 3 points between the two McLarens. There are a lot of close inter-team battles here that are going to go all the way to the end of the season. If we take a look at the Constructors' Championship, even points in terms of distribution for Red Bull and Ferrari, so no change to the gap. But again, Red Bull have won this title. It's going to be almost impossible for them to lose this one now. Mercedes, with that 1 point, just gives them a little bit of an extra bit of protection against us. But we do still close that gap. It's now just 8 points to Mercedes. Could have been so much closer, but we'll take what we can get. Alpine, with their points, do try and keep the pressure on us where they can, but they are still 14 points back, and no change for any of the other teams. They stay as they were. A development point gained for Freddie, who had an exceptional race. 15 overtakes, 18 defences, 30 failed overtakes, 12 failed defences. A lot of excellent driving, just that one little lockup. And it's a similar story for Felipe. 18 overtakes, 37 successful defences, 22 failed overtakes, 22 failed defences. Again, that one little lockup cost him so much. We did achieve our sponsorship goals all the way across the board, which is good. It's more money that we can't spend, so fun. Our spare chassis is done, and we've now got 2.5 weeks until the next Grand Prix. Let's go ahead and improve Freddie's cornering. Felipe is potentially going to get a point before the next Grand Prix. Let's check our staff. No points there. Let's have a quick look at car development. We've got a suspension research project ending in 12 days, so we can go ahead and do a new suspension project after that, but we won't get it in time for Singapore, but we will have it for the rest of the season. Let's go to our inbox. The top speed of the car could be better. Yes, I am aware. The cost cap will be reduced by 5 mil. Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Williams, AlphaTauri and Aston Martin all vote for that. Surprisingly enough, Red Bull did not want the cost cap reduced. Make of that what you will. We do have that spare chassis. Our race sim needs to be refurbed. Let's go ahead and kick that in. That'll be refurbed just in time for the next Grand Prix. That's excellent news. Our scouting department is almost upgraded. Let's take a look at operational facilities. Weather Centre is about to degrade. Our wind tunnel's wearing out a little bit. Okay, so let's advance some time. There's our spare underfloor. There is the scouting department upgrades. So let's go ahead and immediately upgrade that again, because we've got nothing else to spend the money on. Let's go ahead and hire another scout, and we'll excuse me, we'll put him to action when we get our other scouts back from whatever they're doing, so that we can keep them all synced up. Low stock of suspensions. Yep, I'm aware of that. That's fine. Not worried about that. There is the research project for the suspension done. So let's go to design and design a new suspension. We're on number 6 already. Let's see, can we get an improvement to cooling? We can. Brake cooling's already pretty good. It's not really going to give us that much of an upgrade. It's only going to give us 0.9%, less than 0.9%. It will give us some incremental increases in cornering and speed and acceleration as well. Alright, let me take a look at our research situation. Might be more prudent just to carry on researching stuff. So we've done 2 research projects on suspensions now. The rear wing has not been researched yet. I am kind of waiting for hours for that. I think, did we start a front wing project with hours? No, it's the underfloor research project with hours. So we've got 38 days left until that's done. Chassis is not likely to really need a major overhaul, although improving the engine cooling could be useful, improving the speed could be useful. How long will it take to do a research project on the rear wing? That's going to take me 60 days. I do really need to do that, but I'd like to do it with hours. Alright, let's look at maybe doing a new chassis. Give us a little boost to our engine cooling, a bit of boost to cornering, a bit of boost to speed and acceleration. That would take 30 days, which is when the next ATR period kicks in, and that would be, if we rushed it, we could get that in time for COTA. Is there a part we could really throw on that would give us a meaningful benefit? We could do some drag reduction like that. That might be worth doing. We would slightly impact our engine cooling. But it would give us a nice little boost in speed, which is where we are really lacking. Everything else is pretty good, as you can see, but that top speed and acceleration really is hurting. So let's have a look. 4 engineers and rushed 29 days. Kota is in 27, so if I took a little bit of airflow off and went with that, that's actually hurting the engine cooling a little bit. Can't really take it off the drag reduction, or can I? Kind of negates the point of doing it. You can see how bad the condition of our side pods are on the grid compared to the rest of the field. 19th in drag reduction, 19th in airflow. This is one of the weakest parts we have on our car, so it does kind of make sense to try and improve it a bit. But I need to get this in time for Kota. What if I were to sacrifice some engine cooling? To improve airflow and drag reduction a bit more. Yeah, let's do that. We can always work on the engine cooling again next season. Let's try and get a bit more performance on the car with one final upgrade. And this will drop in time for Kota, so we won't get this straight away. We won't get it for Singapore or Japan, but we will get it in 3 races time. And that will be the last upgrade for the car. So we'll get that done, and then after that we'll have a new ATR period after Kota, and that's when we'll start work on getting a rear wing done with ours as our one rear wing major research project, and then hopefully we can try and squeeze in maybe a front wing project with ours before the end of the season as well. We'll see. We might not have the opportunity for that. Right, we may as well go ahead and advance time up to the day of the Grand Prix. Let's have a look at our inbox. The board have high confidence in our leadership. Let's take a look at the board's confidence. Despite the late lockups, they're still delighted with performance. They've been delighted with everything apart from Spa. Spa was not good. They were only satisfied with that, and I can understand that. We are getting another warning that Andrew Green's contract is ending soon. We are going to be replacing him at the end of the season, probably with what was his name? Matt Harmon. That is my target. He is a massive improvement, as you can see. Big gains across the board. But we're not locked into that. We may yet see some new interesting drivers pop up in this list at the end of the season. So we will wait until the end of the season before we make that. Let's have a look at what else is going on. There is that point for Felipe. Let's go ahead and book that in now. Boost his reactions a little bit. Nico's contract is expiring at the end of the season. That's fine. We're going to be replacing him at the end of the season anyway. Need to consider who we're going to sign next season. I did have somebody in mind. I think it was going to be Isaac Hajar, wasn't it? Was who I was talking about signing. There he is. It's going to need some work. His stats aren't the greatest at the moment, but he's got good balance across his stats. Jack Crawford's another potential. not so good at the overtaking and defending. His adaptability is pretty decent. Again, he's got time to improve before the end of the season. But yeah, I think Isaac Hajar is who I'm probably going to go for. But I am still open to suggestions, so do let me know if there is anyone you want me to consider as my reserve driver for the next couple of seasons. Our race sim is now fully refurbed and ready to go. Just in time for the weather centre to break. Let's go ahead and do a refurb on that. It's going to take 47 days. Oof. That's a long one. And there we go. We've reached race day, and that is where we're going to end tonight's stream. So, yeah, disappointing. Bit bittersweet. Could have had a win. Could have had a double podium. Had to settle for double points instead. Have still closed the gap on Mercedes a little bit. But we could potentially have actually overhauled them tonight, which is a bit of a shame. But I expect us to do well at Marina Bay, as long as we don't have lockups into the wall. So join me tomorrow night to see whether or not we can keep it on the track, or if we're going to be spending a lot of time in the pits bringing out safety cars. We could see a lot of safety cars like we did the other night on yesterday with Williams. Who knows? So until then, thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more F1 Manager Challenge Mode very soon.